The tribunals began. Council leaders who had voted for humanity's subjugation faced justice. But the trials were fair. Evidence was presented. Defense was allowed. Some were found guilty of crimes against peace. Others were cleared of wrongdoing. High Commander Reth stood trial for war crimes. The evidence against him was extensive. His orders had killed humans. His blockades had caused suffering. But his defenders argued he was following the Council's mandate. He was a soldier following orders. The judges were mixed. Humans, but also members of other species. The verdict guilty, but with consideration for circumstances. Punishment: 20 years imprisonment and permanent ban from military service. Reth accepted the sentence with dignity. I am old. 20 years is likely my life, but I accept this. I earned this. You did, the lead judge told him. But we give you something your people never gave humanity. We give you justice, not revenge. Admiral Taeyang oversaw the transformation of Earth's military. The Ghost Fleet, built for war, needed new purpose. He proposed converting them to rapid response vessels, rescue ships, explorer ships, peacekeepers for the new Union. We built these ships for revenge, he told his officers. Now we will use them for something better. To help, to protect, to explore. The flagship, the Vengeful Dawn, underwent renaming. Commander Yuna stood at the ceremony as the old name was removed. Workers installed new letters. New Hope. A better name, she said to Captain Minho. A better purpose, he agreed. The formation of the Union of Free Worlds took months. Every species had to ratify the charter. Every government had to agree to the terms. Equal representation, equal rights, equal protection under law. No cages, no chains, no master species. Ambassador Hana was elected as the first chancellor. Not unopposed. Many species still feared human dominance. But enough trusted her. Enough believed in the new vision. Her first act was to establish the Union Defense Force. Not an army of conquest, but a true peacekeeping organization. Commander Yuna became the first Supreme Marshal, leading a fleet composed of ships from hundreds of species. We do not fight for any one world, Yuna told the assembled fleet on her first day. We fight for all worlds, for the principle that no species should suffer what humanity suffered, for the idea that strength serves justice, not ambition. Dr. Sora's weapons division faced the hardest transition. The Nova weapons, the quantum drives, the advanced technology. Earth had to share it. Many humans objected. This was their advantage, their protection. But Sora argued differently. Technology is not a weapon unless we make it one. These discoveries can advance all species. Medical science, energy production, space exploration. We can help the galaxy grow or we can keep it in the dark. Which future do we choose? The decision to share was not easy, but it passed. Earth began releasing technical data, helping other species develop quantum drives and fusion technology, not weapons, tools. Pilot Seojin became an instructor at the first Union Flight Academy. Students came from every member species. They trained together, flew together, learned to trust each other. You are not learning to fight your enemies, Seojin told them. You are learning to defend your friends. Everyone in this room is your friend. Everyone in the Union is your friend. Remember that when you face danger. Medic Minji established the Union Medical Academy on Earth. Students from across the galaxy studied medicine together. Human techniques mixed with alien knowledge, advancing healing for all species. Medicine has no borders, she taught. Pain is universal. So is compassion. Learn both. President Jiwon's term ended 2 years after the war. She chose not to seek re-election. In her final address, she spoke about the path humanity had walked. We were victims. We became warriors. We stood at the edge of becoming oppressors. We stepped back. That step, that choice defines us more than any battle we won. Future generations will judge us not by our revenge, but by our restraint. Not by our weapons, but by our wisdom. We are not perfect. We made mistakes. We caused suffering. But we stopped. We chose a better path. That is enough. The Archon Elder Witness appeared at the inauguration of the Union, speaking publicly for the first time in 1,000,000 years. Humanity has done what no species before has done. They broke the cycle. Not perfectly, not without cost, but they broke it. Now comes the harder part, maintaining the peace, building the future, resisting the temptation to return to old ways. The cycle has repeated for millions of years. Perhaps with humanity's choice it finally ends, or perhaps it only pauses. Time will tell. But for now there is hope. And hope in a galaxy that has known little but conflict is itself a revolution. Captain Minho took command of the exploration vessel Far Horizon, the first joint human-alien mission to explore beyond known space. His crew was mixed: humans, Velkari, Thros, former enemies working together. On launch day he addressed them. "We are going to see things no one has seen, discover things no one has discovered, and we will do it together, not as separate species competing, but as one crew with one mission: to expand knowledge, to seek wonder, to remind ourselves why we explore in the first place." The ship departed Earth to cheers from billions, human and alien, all celebrating the journey. Can we, after everything, after the deaths and destruction and hate? Jiwon pulled up a communication. "There is someone who wants to speak with us, someone who has been watching." The hologram showed a being unlike any they had seen. Ancient, wise, composed of light and energy. The Archon: "I am Elder Witness. My people have observed this galaxy for millions of years. We watch civilizations rise and fall. Always the same pattern. Always the same mistakes. And you never intervene?" Sora asked. "We cannot. Evolution must be chosen, not forced. But we can offer knowledge. We can show you the path." "What path?" "We have already gone too far. No species goes too far until they go too far. You stand at the edge. Behind you, the path of revenge and dominance. Ahead, something new. The choice is yours." Ambassador Hana spoke from the council chambers. "What makes you think we can choose differently? Every species before us failed. Every species before you believed they were righteous. They believed their revenge was justified. They never questioned themselves. You are questioning. That is the difference." The Archon showed them visions. The Velkari Empire beginning as freedom fighters. The Thros Collective starting as peaceful traders. Others, all beginning with noble intentions, all ending as the very thing they fought against. The cycle continues because species never stop their revenge while they still can. They always go just a little further, take just a little more, until they look in the mirror and see their enemy staring back. President Jiwon looked at her commanders and scientists. "What if we stop now? What if we take our victory and choose peace?" "Some will call it weakness," Admiral Taeyang said. "Some already do," Yuna added. "But some will call it wisdom," Captain Minho offered. "Some will call it strength of a different kind." "The strongest thing any species can do," Elder Witness said, "is stop when they have the power to continue. That is evolution. That is growth. That is how the cycle breaks." Throughout Earth, the debate raged. In homes and bars and military bases. On news programs and social networks. Should humanity press its advantage? Should it stop? What did justice mean? Pilot Seojun sat with his squadron in their ready room, watching the debates. "I fought to free our people. I did not fight to become someone others need to be freed from." Another pilot disagreed. "The council would have enslaved us. They deserve everything we give them. When does it end? When they are all dead? When we rule the galaxy? When we become them?" Medic Minji spoke at a public forum on Earth. "I have treated wounds on both sides. Pain is the same. Death is the same. The council started this war with cruelty. We can end it with mercy. That is the only real victory." Deep beneath the Pacific, President Jiwon made her decision. She called for the referendum. Every human adult would vote on a simple question: continue the war until total dominance or stop now and seek peace. "This is not a decision for governments," she announced to the world. "This is a decision about who we are as a species, about what kind of galaxy we want to live in. Each person must choose. The vote would take 1 week. During that time, military operations continued, but with restraint. No new attacks on homeworlds, no civilian targets, only defensive actions. Commander Yuna used the time to visit the wounded in field hospitals. She saw the cost of war up close. The missing limbs, the nightmares, the young faces aged by trauma. One soldier asked her, "Commander, was it worth it?" "I do not know yet," Yuna answered honestly. "Ask me again when this is over." As the voting deadline approached, the galaxy watched. The Archons watched. History watched. Humanity stood at a crossroads and for once had the wisdom to see it. The question was, would they have the wisdom to choose correctly? The referendum results came in after a week of humanity debating its own soul. President Jiwan watched the numbers climb on screens throughout the command center. Dr. Sora stood beside her, both women exhausted from sleepless nights of doubt and fear. 73% voted to end offensive operations. 27% wanted continued war. The margin was clear but not overwhelming. Nearly a third of humanity still wanted revenge. "It is enough," Jiwan said quietly. "It has to be enough." She addressed the people of Earth through every channel. "The vote is complete. Humanity has spoken. We choose justice over vengeance. We choose to stop while we still can. Today I announce the end of all offensive operations. We will defend ourselves, but we will not attack. We invite the Council to new negotiations, not as conquerors to conquered, not as masters to servants, but as equals seeking peace." Admiral Taeyang began the transition immediately. Military forces shifted from attack to patrol status. The Ghost Fleet maintained its positions but powered down weapon systems. The message was clear: humanity was serious about peace. But not everyone agreed with the decision. In a secret meeting aboard a military station, a group of commanders gathered. They called themselves the Iron Fist faction. They believed humanity was making a fatal mistake. "We have the Council beaten," one commander argued. "This is our chance to ensure Earth's safety forever. Rule the galaxy and never fear being caged again." "The people voted," another responded. "We are a democracy. The people are tired and scared. They do not understand military strategy. We must protect them from their own weakness." Commander Yuna learned of the meeting through intelligence channels. She brought the information to President Jiwan. "We have a mutiny brewing. Not large, but dangerous. They plan to launch unauthorized attacks to provoke continued war. Can we stop them? Yes, but it will mean arresting our own people, some of them heroes of the war." Jiwan's expression hardened. "Do it. We did not fight for freedom only to lose it to our own military. No one is above the law, not even war heroes." The arrests happened swiftly. 27 officers taken into custody. Among them were veterans who had destroyed council fleets, freed colonies, and risked their lives for Earth. Now they stood accused of mutiny. The trials were public. The charges clear, but the verdicts troubled many. These were not villains. They were soldiers who believed they were protecting Earth. The punishment was imprisonment, not execution. Jiwan showed mercy even to those who would have shown none. On the Galactic Council station, now nearly empty, Ambassador Hana waited for the council delegates to arrive. They came slowly, carefully, like beaten animals approaching an uncertain hand. The Velkari delegate, the Thros leader, representatives from dozens of species. "The council is dissolved," Hana began. "It failed in its purpose. It became an instrument of oppression rather than cooperation. It cannot continue. What will replace it?" the Thros leader asked. "That depends on you, on all of us." Hana activated a holographic display. "Earth proposes the union of free worlds. Every species gets equal representation. No junior members. No senior members. Just members." The Velkari delegate studied the proposal. "And those who voted for the containment protocols? What happens to them?" "Tribunals, justice, but proportional justice. Not extinction. Not enslavement. Removal from positions of power. Reparations paid. Apologies made. And if we refuse, then we return to war. But this time with no restraint, no mercy, no hesitation." Hana's voice was cold. "You have seen what humanity can do while holding back. Do not make us show you what we can do without limits." The council delegates conferred among themselves. They had no real choice and they knew it. But Hana gave them something. Not domination. Not slavery. A chance at redemption. "We accept," the Velkari delegate said finally. "Not because we want to. Because you give us no choice. But also because it is better than we deserve." "Yes," Hana agreed. "It is. Remember that." "And if there are civilians who cannot or will not leave?" Jiwan's jaw tightened. "Then they will die. And their blood will be on the Thros leadership who put them in danger. Or on our hands." Sora said quietly. Agent Nari worked in the captured Velkari database, sorting through centuries of council records. What she found made her blood run cold. She immediately contacted Earth Command. "Admiral Taeyang, you need to see this. The Velkari Empire was not always the oppressor. 2,000 years ago, they were like us, conquered, caged. They rebelled, won their freedom, and then She trailed off. And then they became exactly what their oppressors had been. Taeyang finished. History repeating. Every dominant species in council records shows the same pattern. Victim becomes victor becomes oppressor. Over and over. For millions of years. Taeyang closed his eyes. Send this to President Jiwon. She needs to know. In a field hospital on Mars, medic Minji treated wounded from both sides. Human soldiers in one section, council prisoners in another. She moved between them without distinction, treating injuries regardless of species. A young human marine watched her work on a Velkari soldier. Why help them? They tried to kill us. Because they are wounded. That is enough reason. They would not help you. Minji looked at him seriously. Then we must be better than them. Otherwise, what is the point of winning? The Marine had no answer. He returned to his bunk, Minji's words echoing in his mind. In the council chambers, a coalition of minor species attempted mediation. The Karathi ambassador, a being of crystalline structure, addressed both sides via hologram. Earth and Council, this war benefits no one.
Already trade has collapsed.
Resources are wasted. Lives are lost. We propose neutral mediation. Ambassador Hana listened from Earth. The Velkari delegate listened from his bunker. The Thros leader listened while his people evacuated military zones. What terms do you propose? Hana asked. A mutual ceasefire. Withdrawal of forces. Independent tribunals to judge the actions of both sides. A restructuring of galactic governance that gives all species equal voice. The Velkari delegate spoke quickly. We accept immediately. Please just end this. Earth? The Karathi ambassador asked. Hana looked off-screen, clearly consulting with superiors. We will consider it. But the Thros have not yet surrendered. That must happen first. On the Thros homeworld, the evacuation proceeded slowly. Too slowly. Military personnel mixed with civilians, using them as shields. Commander Yuna watched the deadline approaching. They are not evacuating in good faith, Yunji reported. They are hiding behind civilians. Captain Minho, present as an observer, spoke up. If we fire, we will kill innocents. That makes us no better than them. If we do not fire, we show weakness. Every other council species will think they can use civilians as shields. So we kill civilians to prove a point? Yuna stared at the planet, the decision weighing on her. She opened a channel to President Jiwon. Ma'am, requesting permission to extend the deadline. Negative, Commander. The deadline stands. If we show hesitation now, we lose everything we have gained. But the civilians are the responsibility of their government, not ours. If the Thros leadership cares about them, they will comply. Yuna closed the channel. She looked at her crew, seeing the doubt in their eyes. She felt it too, like poison spreading through her chest. Target military installations only. Precision strikes. Maximum effort to avoid civilian casualties. Commander, at this range, with civilians so close, we cannot guarantee. I said target the installations. Do it. The Vengeful Dawn opened fire. Beams of concentrated energy lanced down to the planet. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Military bases disappeared. But the scanner showed other deaths too. Civilians caught in the blasts. Civilians in buildings that collapsed. Civilians fleeing who could not run fast enough. On the bridge, nobody spoke. They simply watched the numbers tick upward. 300 dead. 500. 800. Cease fire, Yuna said suddenly. All ships cease fire. But Commander, not all targets are destroyed. I said cease fire. Her voice cracked across the bridge. Contact the Thros leadership. Tell them we are stopping the attack. Tell them their surrender is accepted. Yunji looked confused. Ma'am, Earth Command ordered. I am in command of this fleet. And I will not kill one more civilian for the Council's sins. Captain Minho put his hand on Yuna's shoulder. You made the right choice. Did I? Or did I just throw away everything we fought for? President Jiwon's response came swiftly. Yuna expected relief. Instead, she faced anger. Commander, you disobeyed a direct order. You showed weakness at a critical moment. I chose humanity over victory, Yuna replied. If that is weakness, then I am weak. 800 civilians died. 800, when you could have prevented more by finishing the attack quickly. Or I could have prevented all of them by not attacking at all. Jiwon's expression softened slightly. Commander, I understand your choice, but you must understand the consequences. Other officers see what you did. Some call you a hero, others call you a coward. The fleet is divided. Then perhaps it is time for me to resign. No, it is time for us all to ask what we are fighting for. The Thros have surrendered. The Velkari are defeated. The Council is broken. We won, but at what cost? Dr. Sora shared Agent Nari's findings with the entire Earth leadership. The pattern of oppressed becoming oppressor shocked them all. Admiral Taeyang spoke first. We are following the exact same path as every species before us. Humiliation, rebellion, victory, dominance, eventually becoming oppressors ourselves. Unless we choose differently, Jiwan said. The delegates watched in horror as the star began to expand. Grow brighter, the ship escaped just before the star exploded in a supernova. The shock wave consumed the entire system. We have 300 of these weapons, Sora continued. We could erase the Council homeworlds from existence. Every single one, in a single day. The chamber fell into absolute silence. Even the breathing of oxygen-based species could not be heard. President Jiwan's image appeared beside Sora's. We are not monsters. We will not use this weapon except in the most extreme circumstance. But understand this. We have been holding back. Everything you have seen, all the destruction, all the loss, this is our mercy. We could have ended you all on the first day. The Thros delegate's purple energy flickered weakly. What do you want from us? Capitulation, Jiwan said simply. Complete, total, unconditional. The Council as it exists is finished. You will submit to Earth's terms or you will cease to exist. The Velkari delegate spoke slowly. The galaxy will never accept Earth as its ruler. You will become what you hate. Tyrants, oppressors. Hana considered this. Perhaps. But we will be tyrants who remember what it was like to be oppressed. We will be rulers who once begged for fairness. That makes us different, does it? The delegate asked quietly. In the medical bays of human ships, Medic Minji moved among wounded soldiers. Most injuries were minor. The quantum drives protected crews from direct hits, but she saw the cost in other ways. The exhaustion, the nightmares, the 1,000-yard stares of people who had killed and watched others die. One young pilot lay on a bed staring at the ceiling. Minji checked his vitals. You are fine physically. Why are you here? I destroyed a Thros supply depot today. It was a military target. But I saw escape pods launching. Crews evacuating. I could have stopped firing. But I did not. You followed orders, I know. But I keep thinking about them. They probably have families, friends. They probably never wanted this war either. Minji had no good answer for him. She moved to the next patient, wondering the same thing. When did revenge become justice? When did justice become revenge? Commander Yuna stood in the brig of the Vengeful Dawn, looking at High Commander Reth through the force field. The Velkari commander met her gaze steadily. Why did you do it? Yuna asked. The containment protocols. The humiliation, why? Reth's translator carried his tired voice. Because we could. Because we were strong and you were weak. Because that is how the galaxy has always worked. And now? Now you are strong and we are weak. The cycle continues. In 1,000 years, another species will rise and cast you down. Just as you cast us down, just as we cast others down before you. Yuna turned away. No, we will break the cycle. Do you truly believe that? Look at yourself, Commander. Look at your ship's name. Vengeful Dawn. You are vengeance incarnate. How will you break the cycle when you are part of it? Yuna had no answer. She left the brig, Reth's words following her like ghosts. President Jiwan sat alone in her office beneath the Pacific. Reports covered her desk. Casualty figures, damage assessments, requests for more attacks. She felt the weight of every decision. Dr. Sora entered without knocking. The Council has sent a formal request for ceasefire negotiations. And our terms? They accept all of them. Reparations, dissolution, tribunals, everything. Jiwan should have felt triumphant. Instead, she felt empty. Did we go too far? Sora sat down slowly. I do not know. They hurt us. We hurt them back, harder, much harder. Is that justice or revenge? Does it matter? Yes, Sora said firmly. It matters very much. Because if this was only revenge, then we have become what we fought against. And that means they won after all, just in a different way. Jiwan stood and looked at a display showing Earth from orbit. Beautiful. Blue. Peaceful. Arrange the ceasefire. Begin negotiations. But first I want a global referendum. Let humanity decide what kind of species we want to be. Conquerors or liberators. Tyrants or leaders. Revenge or justice. And if they choose revenge, then we will have to live with that choice. And history will judge us accordingly. High above Earth, the Ghost Fleet maintained its positions. 300 warships ready to strike at a moment's notice. On the bridge of the Vengeful Dawn, Commander Yuna looked at her crew. Young faces, determined faces, faces that had seen too much in too short a time. She opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships, this is Commander Yuna. The Council has requested ceasefire. Earth is considering the terms. We may soon have peace. She paused, choosing her words carefully. We have shown the galaxy our strength. We have proven that humanity will not be caged. We have earned respect through force. But I ask you all to consider, what do we want to be remembered for? Our weapons, or what we choose to do with them? In the silence that followed, Yuna wondered if they would understand. If she understood. The line between justice and revenge was so thin, and they had crossed it so many times in the past 3 months, but perhaps, she thought, perhaps they could still find their way back. 2 months into the war, humanity stood at its moment of greatest military triumph. The Ghost Fleet arrived at the Thros homeworld, their quantum drives bringing them through the system's outer defenses like phantoms through walls. Commander Yuna stood on the bridge of the Vengeful Dawn, looking at the blue-green planet below. All ships in position, Tactical Officer Yunji reported. We have complete orbital superiority. Yuna opened a communication channel to the planet. This is Commander Yuna of Earth's Defense Fleet. We have surrounded your world. Evacuate all military personnel and installations within 24 hours. After that deadline, we will destroy them. Civilian areas will not be targeted, but remain at your own risk. The Thros Collective's leader appeared on screen, his purple energy swirling with emotion. You cannot do this. We have cities near those installations. Millions could die. You had no concern for millions when you voted to cage humanity. 24 hours. Choose wisely. President Jiwan watched the feed from Earth's command center. Dr. Sora stood beside her, arms crossed, face troubled. Are we really going to do this? Attack a homeworld? The military targets, yes. Only if they refuse to evacuate. They lied to us, a junior officer said quietly. They have been preparing for years. Impossible. We monitored their communications. We watched their systems. They wanted us to see what they wanted us to see. The High Commander pulled up tactical displays. Red markers showed destroyed military installations across the galaxy. 40% of Council military infrastructure was damaged or destroyed. In 48 hours. Get me the Council delegates. Emergency session. Now. Pilot Seojin flew his fighter through the asteroid field near Jupiter, part of a squadron intercepting Velkari ships trying to raid Earth's outer colonies. His targeting computer locked onto an enemy fighter, one shot. The Velkari ship exploded. Seojin, you have 3 on your tail, his wingman called. I see them. He twisted his fighter through a gap between asteroids too small for the larger Velkari ships. They tried to follow. 2 crashed into the rocks. The 3rd he eliminated with a backward shot. How did you do that? His wingman asked. I grew up in these asteroids. This is my home. They are just visitors. Seojin accelerated toward the next target. Admiral Taeyang watched the battle displays from Earth's command center. Green markers showed human forces. Red showed enemy. The green was winning everywhere. President Jiwan stood beside him. Casualties? She asked. Minimal. The quantum drives and superior tactics give us overwhelming advantage. They cannot fight what they cannot see or hit. And their casualties? Taeyang's expression remained neutral. Significant. We are hitting military targets only, but the destruction is extensive. Jiwan nodded slowly. This was necessary. They left us no choice, I know, but I wonder if we will recognize ourselves when this is over. In the council chambers, delegates gathered in emergency session. Many seats were empty. Some species refused to attend. Others could not, their homeworld communications cut by human attacks. The Velkari delegate stood to speak, his voice no longer confident. We must negotiate. Offer them something. Anything. The Thros delegate, his purple energy flickering with distress, responded. Negotiate? They are destroying us. We need to fight back. With what? The Velkari delegate shouted. Our fleets are in pieces. Our shipyards are rubble. The humans are ghosts we cannot touch. A smaller species delegate, one who had voted for the containment protocol, stood with shaking limbs. We thought they were weak. We thought we could control them. We were wrong. Tactical Officer Yunji coordinated strikes from the Vengeful Dawn's Combat Information Center. Multiple screens showed battles across the galaxy. She directed forces with precision, ensuring maximum damage to military targets while avoiding civilian casualties. "Commander, we have captured 3 Council admirals from destroyed command ships," she reported to Yuna. "Bring them aboard. Prepare for interrogation." The prisoners were brought to the bridge. They looked at the human crew with confusion and fear. Yuna approached them, her expression cold. "You voted for the containment protocols. You laughed at Ambassador Hana. You thought humanity was primitive." One admiral, a multi-limbed creature, spoke through its translator. "We underestimated you. We admit this. Please show mercy." "Mercy?" Yuna's voice cut like ice. "You plan to enslave my species. We found your private communications. The containment protocols were just the first step. You intended to eventually reduce Earth to a resource farm, with humans as workers." The admirals said nothing. Their silence was confession enough. "We are broadcasting this interrogation across the galactic network," Yuna continued. "Everyone will know the truth. The Council's mercy was a lie. Their protection was chains." Captain Doyen's Phantom's Edge arrived at the Valkyrie Prime Orbital Defense Platform, a massive weapons station protecting the enemy homeworld. It bristled with enough firepower to destroy a fleet. Doyen studied the structure carefully. "We cannot take that head-on," his weapons officer said. "We do not have to." Doyen piloted his ship close to the platform, using its own mass to block its sensors. He deployed specialized drones that attached to the station's hull. "Those drones are now broadcasting our quantum signature. The platform's targeting computer will think we are everywhere." He pulled away and watched as the platform's automated defenses activated, detecting the quantum signatures. The weapons fired at their own hull, the drones making the system think enemies surrounded it. In minutes, the platform tore itself apart. "Valkyrie Prime is defenseless," Doyen reported to Admiral Taeyang. "Do not fire on the planet. Maintain orbit. Let them see our ships. Let them understand." Throughout Council space, the pattern repeated. Human forces appeared without warning, struck with precision, vanished before defenses could respond. Military bases burned. Shipyards crumbled. Fleet formations scattered. The message was clear and simple. Humanity was no longer the victim. The caged species had broken free, and they were very, very angry. 3 weeks had passed since the war began. The Galactic Council chambers looked empty now. Many species had stopped sending delegates. Others sent representatives with full authority to negotiate. The Valkyrie delegate sat slumped in his chair. The proud, arrogant being who had called humans primates now looked defeated. Ambassador Hana walked into the chamber. She wore her Earth diplomatic uniform, but everything about her presence had changed. She was no longer a supplicant. She was a conqueror showing restraint. Captain Minho followed behind her, his hand resting on his sidearm. "Honored delegates," Hana began, her voice echoing in the nearly empty chamber. "Or should I say remaining delegates? Many of your colleagues have fled. Many of your homeworlds burn, not from orbital bombardment, not from genocide, but from precision strikes against military targets. We could have killed billions. We chose not to. Remember that." The Throst delegate tried to speak. "Ambassador, please, we wish to negotiate terms of—" "You will be silent," Hana interrupted. "You do not speak now. You listen. For 50 years humanity listened to you. We listened as you mocked us. We listened as you caged us. We listened as you stole from us. Now you listen." She pulled up a holographic display. "Earth's demands are simple. Full reparations for all resources taken. Immediate dissolution of the containment protocols. And punishment for every delegate who voted to subjugate humanity. You will face tribunals. You will answer for your crimes." The Valkyrie delegate finally found his voice. "You cannot punish the entire council. This is vengeance, not justice." "You are right," Hana said softly. "It is vengeance. You taught us well. You showed us that the strong do what they will and the weak suffer what they must. Congratulations. We learned your lesson perfectly." Far from the council chambers, the Valkyrie Empire made its final desperate move. High Commander Reth assembled what remained of his fleet, 200 warships, and launched a direct attack on Mars. If they could strike at human colonies, perhaps Earth would negotiate. Pilot Seogen was on patrol near Jupiter when the alarm came. "All fighters, enemy fleet inbound to Mars, intercept and engage." He pushed his fighter to maximum speed, his squadron following. Behind them, Admiral Taeyang mobilized the main defense fleet. The Battle of the Asteroid Belt was about to begin. The Velkari fleet entered the belt, their ships in tight formation. Seojin smiled as he flew past them, firing as he went. They still fight like it is the old galaxy. Tight formations, predictable patterns. Human fighters swarmed the enemy fleet like angry insects. Each pilot knew the asteroid belt intimately. They used rocks as cover, emerging to fire and vanishing again. The Velkari ships tried to maintain formation but collided with asteroids they could not track. Admiral Taiyang's fleet arrived. But rather than engaging directly, he deployed swarm drones. Thousands of small, intelligent weapons that moved independently. The drones overwhelmed Velkari point defenses. Ships tried to retreat but found themselves surrounded. Their flagship is breaking formation, Tactical Officer Yunji reported from the command ship. Commander Yuna, you are closest. Can you intercept? Taiyang asked. From the vengeful dawn, Yuna responded. Already on it. Her ship Quantum jumped directly in front of the fleeing Velkari flagship. At such close range, even one barrage was devastating. The flagship's engines died. Its shields collapsed. Yuna opened a communication channel. High Commander Reth, your fleet is destroyed. Your homeworld is defenseless. Surrender now or I will level every military installation on Velkari Prime. Through the screen, Reth looked old and tired. You won. This war is over. Please no more. You are now a prisoner of Earth. Your trial will be public. The remaining Velkari ships, seeing their commander captured, surrendered. The Battle of the Asteroid Belt lasted 6 hours. It was the largest space battle in galactic history, and humanity won decisively. Back in the council chambers, news of the battle spread quickly. The remaining delegates understood now. This was not a rebellion. This was not terrorism. This was total war, and humanity was winning. A delegate from a minor species stood carefully. Ambassador Hana, my people abstained from the vote on the containment protocols. We seek separate peace with Earth. Others quickly stood as well, each claiming they had opposed humanity's treatment. Hana watched them with cold amusement. You were silent when we needed you. You are loud now that you fear us. Interesting. The great chamber of the Galactic Council stretched before Ambassador Hana like a massive arena. Thousands of alien delegates filled the seats, their strange forms and colors creating a living tapestry of the galaxy's diversity. She stood at the center podium, her hands gripping the edges as she prepared to speak. Behind her, Captain Minho watched from the human delegation section, his military uniform pressed and perfect. Hana cleared her throat and began. Honored delegates, humanity comes before you today with a simple request. We have been junior members of this council for 50 years. We have followed every rule. We have paid every fee. We ask now for full membership and equal trading rights with all species. The chamber erupted in sounds she had learned to recognize as laughter. The Velkari delegate, a towering creature with silver scales, rose from his seat. His voice boomed through the translators. Equal rights? You barely evolved primates think you deserve equality with species who crossed the stars when your ancestors still lived in caves? More laughter echoed through the chamber. Hana felt her face grow hot, but she kept her expression calm. We have proven ourselves capable. Our colonies thrive. Our technology advances. We ask only for fairness. The Thros delegate, a being of shifting purple energy, spoke next. Fairness? Let me propose something fair. The containment protocols. A holographic document appeared in the air above the chamber. Humanity will be confined to the Sol system for the next 500 years. This will give you time to truly mature as a species. Captain Minho stood up, his voice sharp. You cannot cage an entire species. This is tyranny. This is protection, the Velkari delegate said smoothly. Protection for the galaxy from your violent, primitive impulses. All in favor of the containment protocols? Hana watched in horror as delegate after delegate voted yes. Even the species humanity had helped, the ones they considered friends, raised their hands in agreement. The vote was unanimous. She felt something break inside her chest. The Thros delegate continued. Additionally, Earth will pay 70% of all resources produced as protection fees to the Council. This ensures we can maintain the blockades around your system. This is robbery, Hana said quietly. This is the price of your membership, the Velkari delegate replied. Be grateful we allow you to remain in the Council at all. 3 weeks later, Captain Minho stood on the observation deck of his ship, the Horizon's Promise, watching as massive alien warships formed a blockade around Mars. Earth's colonies were cut off. Supply ships turned away. The message was clear. Humanity was trapped. Admiral Taeyang appeared on the communication screen. His aged face looked tired but angry. All diplomatic personnel are being recalled to Earth. The Council has made its position clear. We are nothing to them. What do we do now? Minho asked. Now, we remember this moment, every insult, every humiliation, and we prepare. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility that appeared on no maps, Dr. Sora walked through corridors carved from living rock. She reached the Central Command Center where President Jiwan waited. The president was younger than most expected, but her eyes held steel. How long? Jiwan asked. Sora pulled up holographic displays. We have been building in secret for 30 years. The Ghost Fleet is nearly complete. 300 ships using technology the Council does not know we possess. The derelict ships we found in the Kuiper Belt? Yes. Ancient vessels with technology far beyond what the Council uses. We reverse-engineered everything. Our quantum displacement drives make us undetectable, faster, stronger. Jiwan looked at the displays showing sleek warships hiding in asteroid bases throughout the solar system. They thought we were primitive. They thought we were weak. They should have left us alone, Sora said quietly. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Taeyang gathered his senior commanders. Commander Yuna, leader of the Ghost Fleet Initiative, stood at attention. Beside her, Engineer Hyunwoo displayed technical specifications on a screen. The Council grows comfortable, Taeyang said. They believe we are contained and defeated. They celebrate their victory over humanity. Intelligence reports show their military is spread thin across the galaxy. They do not expect resistance. When do we strike? Yuna asked. Soon. But first we need complete intelligence. Agent Nari is already on the Velkari homeworld gathering information. Every Council military position. Every weakness. Every secret. Yunwoo activated a recording. It showed a test of the quantum displacement drive. A ship simply vanished from one location and appeared in another, leaving no trace. They cannot track us. They cannot target us. We are ghosts. Taeyang nodded slowly. Volunteers are flooding our recruitment centers. Everyone wants to be part of this. Everyone remembers the humiliation. On the surface, in hidden shipyards throughout the asteroid belt, workers assembled the final ships. They worked in silence, their faces determined. Every person remembered the vote. Every person remembered the laughter in the council chambers. President Jiwan addressed the secret assembly of military and scientific leaders. The council wanted to cage humanity. They wanted to keep us small and weak and controllable. They made a mistake. They assumed we would accept our place. They assumed we would bow our heads and obey. She paused, her voice growing harder. They were wrong. We spent 30 years preparing for this moment. We played the role they expected, weak, primitive, harmless. But we were watching, learning, building, and now we are ready. Commander Yuna stepped forward. Operation Reckoning is prepared. We strike in 47 systems simultaneously. We free our colonies. We destroy their military infrastructure. We show them what happens when you corner an apex predator. Far away on the Velkari homeworld, Agent Nari moved through the shadows of the military command center. She planted devices that would disable their warning systems. She copied files containing fleet positions and patrol routes. The aliens never noticed the human woman in their midst. They never thought to look for threats from a species they considered caged. As she uploaded the final data packet to Earth, Nari whispered to herself, "They called us primitive. Soon they will learn what human intelligence really means." Back on Earth, in the war room beneath the Pacific, the countdown began. Officers checked and rechecked systems. Pilots boarded their ships. The Ghost Fleet powered up its engines for the first time as a complete armada. Dr. Sora stood beside President Jiwan, watching the displays. "Are we sure about this? Once we start, there is no going back." "They gave us no choice," Jiwan replied. "They humiliated us. They caged us. They stole from us. The galaxy will learn that humanity does not forgive, humanity does not forget, and humanity does not stay down." The final seconds ticked away. Commander Yuna sat in the command chair of her flagship, the Vengeful Dawn. Around her, 300 ships waited in perfect silence. She opened a channel to all vessels. The Council wanted to know what humanity is capable of. Let us show them. For Earth, for freedom, for revenge. The ghost fleet vanished into quantum space, leaving empty darkness where moments before an armada had floated. The war had begun. The attack began at exactly 0400 Galactic Standard Time. Across 47 star systems, human ships materialized from quantum space like vengeful spirits. The Council forces had no warning. Their sensors showed empty space one moment and deadly warships the next. Commander Yuna watched from the bridge of the Vengeful Dawn as her fleet emerged around the Thros Collective's main military shipyard. The massive structure hung in space like a small moon, building warships for Council forces. Tactical Officer Yunji counted down from her station. Target locks acquired. All ships reporting ready. Fire, Yuna said calmly. The shipyard disappeared in a bloom of light. Decades of construction, hundreds of ships in various stages of completion. Gone in seconds. The Thros defenders scrambled to respond, but their targeting computers could not lock onto the human vessels. The quantum displacement technology made the ships flicker in and out of normal space. Shipyard destroyed. Moving to secondary targets, Yunji reported. In another system, Captain Doyen commanded the stealth destroyer Phantom's Edge. His target was the Velkari blockade around Alpha Centauri, Earth's oldest colony. 12 massive Velkari warships surrounded the planet, preventing any ships from leaving or entering. They outnumber us 12-1, his weapons officer said nervously. Doyen smiled. They also cannot see us. Target the flagship first, full missile barrage, then quantum jump behind their formation. The Phantom's Edge unleashed its weapons. The Velkari flagship's shields collapsed under the unexpected assault. Before the other ships could react, Doyen's vessel vanished and reappeared behind them. Another barrage. Another Velkari ship exploded. They are trying to form a defensive pattern, the tactical officer reported. Good. Makes them easier to target. Doyen's ship danced through space, appearing and vanishing, each time unleashing destruction. In 12 minutes, the blockade was broken. The colony was free. On the Velkari homeworld, Agent Nari sat in a coffee shop when the alarms began. Citizens ran through the streets in panic. She activated her communication device. Nari to Earth. Early warning systems disabled as planned. Their military command is in chaos. Admiral Taeyang's voice came through. Well done. Extraction team is inbound. Get to the rendezvous point. 5 years after the war, Ambassador Hana stood in the Union chambers. They were full now. Hundreds of species. Thousands of delegates. The room buzzed with dozens of languages, all translating in real time. She spoke to them, her voice carrying to every corner. When Earth joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago, we came in hope. We were crushed. When we rose in anger, we came with vengeance. We could have crushed you in return, but we chose differently. The old council tried to cage humanity. We broke free, but we did not build new cages. We built bridges instead. Bridges of understanding, of cooperation, of mutual respect. These bridges are stronger than any cage. We are not perfect. We still argue. We still disagree. Some species still fear human dominance. Some humans still want to dominate. But we talk. We negotiate. We compromise. That is civilization. That is progress. The galaxy is vast. There are threats we have not yet imagined, resources we have not yet found, wonders we have not yet discovered. We will face them together, not as master and servant, not as strong and weak, but as equals, as friends, as one union. The chamber erupted in applause, not just polite diplomatic applause, real appreciation, real hope. In a small apartment on Earth, a young girl studied history. She read about the humiliation, the war, the revenge that stopped. She asked her teacher, a retired soldier who had fought in the Ghost Fleet, why did we stop? We could have ruled everything. The teacher looked at her seriously, because ruling everything means nothing if you lose yourself doing it. We stopped because we wanted to stay human, not monsters wearing human skin. But some people say we should have gone further. Some people always will. That is why we teach history. So you understand what we almost became. So you never forget that power without wisdom is just tyranny with a different name. The girl thought about this. I understand. Good, because your generation will face the same choice someday. Maybe not in war. Maybe in peace. But the choice between what you can do and what you should do. Remember our choice. Learn from it. Across the galaxy, the Union of Free Worlds continued its work. Exploration missions, medical research, infrastructure projects. The focus shifted from war to growth. From conquest to cooperation, problems remained. Old hatreds did not disappear overnight. Some species refused to join the Union. Some humans never forgave the Council species. But the foundation was built. The principle established: no more cages, no more chains, and somewhere in deep space a new threat stirred. Something that would eventually require all species to work together or perish. But that is a different story. For now humanity had done something remarkable. They had won a war, and then they had won something harder: peace.